Welcome to the third episode of Pass the Baton podcast. I am your host, MR Mohali. Some of you might know me as Gina. Pass the Baton is a podcast series by Future Genesis that discusses the 411 on the entertainment industry in the South African landscape. Its main focus is to empower the emerging acts in the scene, as well as to reach the already established acts seeking to brush up on their industry knowledge. This serves as our official launch episode. In the previous two pilot episodes, we covered on the top 10 things to know and practice as you begin your music career, mental health, and mastering relationships in the music industry. In today's episode, we will be talking about CMOs, collection management organizations. These are the people that collect royalties for musicians in South Africa. Remember, we talked about how important it is to establish whether you are doing music as a career or as a hobby, and also having identified what kind of a musician you are, whether you are a recording artist or a performing artist, or you're a bit of both. After having established that you're taking up music as a career, as well as having identified the type of musician you are, be knowledgeable of how to monetize your career and how to maximize your earnings. Your cash flow is your career's lifeline. And not only is it your career's lifeline, it is also the lifeline of your mental health. There are different ways to monetize your music career. However, the foundation to you monetizing your music career begins with getting your paperwork right. In our industry, so many of you are not getting the paperwork correct, and I urge you, for you to succeed, for you to have a solid career, get your paperwork right. That paperwork includes the agreements you enter into with others in regards to the production, reproduction, and use of your music. This could be your feature artists, could be your session musicians, it could be the people that are making and composing the music, your songwriters as well, etc. All the people that play a part in putting together and making of that music, as well as how you distribute it, how you get it out there, and even how you choose to use that music. It's important to really be on top of your A game when it comes to the paperwork for that. And then also, you need to sort out the paperwork in regards to the administration of rights over usage of your music by the public and your right to be compensated for such usage. Royalties. In South Africa, the most commonly known organizations that administer public publishing or public usage of music on behalf of music copyright holders are SAMRO for performance rights, SAMPRA for needle rights, and CAPASO for mechanical rights. Then there are organizations that administer on behalf of music copyright holders the public's usage for music masters, as well as regulating the trade and competition of music. These organizations are RISA for regulating trade and competition, and REV, that is RAV, for masters usage. To understand why each of these organizations exists and how they come into play, let's start at the basics. Understand the following. What is music copyright? Music copyright is a legal protection for original musical compositions and sound recordings. It gives the copyright holder the right to control how their music is used and distributed and performed. The two forms in which music copyright exists, and take note, guys, take note, because I know this beats you. The forms in which copyright exists are music masters and music publishing. So the two forms in which you can exploit your music copyright is in publishing and in masters. Who can administer music copyright? The music copyright holders in relation to private entities or individuals, or royalty collection organizations and trade associations in relation to public entities for public enjoyment. Who can enjoy or exercise the administered music copyright? It could be private entities or individuals, or public entities in the interests of or for public enjoyment. Previously mentioned organizations administer music copyright on behalf of musicians or music copyright holders to public entities for public enjoyment. Therefore, it's important to be a member of these organizations as well as notify them on your music that's commercially viable for use. I hope everything was clear and that you've gained understanding. And if you'd like to learn a bit more, click the link in our description, gain access to that document that I would have listed all these organizations that are mentioned in this episode, as well as their respective URLs to their websites for you to go learn about. As the music calendar begins, ensure you're on the right side of taking care of your business. This was a very brief episode. I hope it was an informative episode. And of course, please do check the previous episodes. New episodes will be airing every Monday, 7 a.m. South African Standard Time. If you'd like to ask us a question in relation to the South African music industry, do click the link in the description and submit your question. We would love to hear from you. After all, this is a conversation. We really would appreciate, the engagement and hearing from you. To promote this podcast so other people do find it, please do follow our podcast or subscribe to our channel. Please do rate us as well so that the algorithms do promote our podcast so that other people do find it. See you in the next episode.